Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you guys doing? So I've got some positive updates for the back and forth online. Brother Knowledge North, or Abdurrahman from Knowledge North, is now in contact with me privately, and he's taken a very courageous and diplomatic step forward, which I highly respect from him. And I must say, having conversations with him, I feel like he's a very diplomatic man, very intelligent man, and as I suspected, an academic in his own right. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, and that has been facilitated by Osama Dhahabi, who very concerned for these kinds of things, and takes from the verse of the Quran, فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا, which is really good, because I saw a lot of people in the comments, which means if you see two groups of Muslims in conflict, then try and reconcile between them. And many people in the comment section and on Twitter and stuff have been doing the same kind of thing, have been trying to just reconcile brothers, and I commend this. This is very good behavior. This is respectful behavior. This is Quranic behavior. This is taking from the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and implementing it in practice. So since I was quite I would say critical of some of the comments online last time, I think it would be right to do some positive reinforcement this time round. So it's all very positive, to be honest with you. And obviously, in terms of any more private communications that I could be having with Sajid or anyone else who wants to have them with me, who's in the dawah, of course, I'm absolutely open to that, and would find that would be the right step to make. Just like Abdurrahman took that step, I think that if Sajid took that step, it would be fantastic as well, and it would lead to better results. And on this, I just wanted to give myself a reminder, and anyone else who may be listening to this, which is really someone in the group today, one of my WhatsApp groups, actually, I don't think he'll mind me mentioning, but Yusuf Ponders, was giving us advice, and he sent something really, really profound, the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where in which he said, أنا زعيم ببيت في الجنة أو في ربض الجنة. I will give that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give a bayt, a house in Jannah, in heaven, أو في وسط الجنة أو في أعلى الجنة, or the middle of Jannah, or in the higher part of Jannah, to liman taraka al-mira'ah, for whoever leaves off argumentation, walau kana muhiqqa, and even if they were in the right. Now this is a very, very powerful hadith, and it really hit home, because a lot of the time when we go in these back and forths, we lose sight of the reason why we did it in the first place. If it was to correct something which is min bab al-amana al-almiyya, that to try and correct something academically because it's for the public interest or the public good, I think that's justified, to be honest. I don't think that's problematic or whatever. Of course, pending proper protocol or whatever. If it's to warn against something very, very dangerous or something like that, once again, there's grounds for stuff like that. But if it just becomes a matter of, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and it's very much a matter of personal ego, then this is where the hadith is relevant. And if you imagine, the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that hadith in the context of personal dispute, not in the context where people are dawah carriers like us. We have hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of people watching us throughout the years, even tens of millions, or dare I even say hundreds of millions of people watching us throughout the years. And in such a situation, the situation is certainly amplified and accentuated. So I would say that this is the advice I give myself. And obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself in the Quran, he says in Surah Al-Kahf, وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ أَكْثَرَ شَيْءٍ جَدَلًا, that the human being was the most argumentative thing, the most argumentative creature. We love to argue. That's what humans like to do, and arguments are not always bad. وَلَا تُجَادِلُوا أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ, as the Quran states, that don't argue with the people of the book except for that way which is better. But when it becomes a matter of personal egos and I said and she said and قيل وقال, like the Sha'ar said, والله لو سلم الإنسان لو كان الإنسان جبريل ما أسلم المرء من قد قال وقد قيل. قد قيل لله أسماء مصنفة تتلى إذا رتل القرآن ترتيلا. So and these kinds of things that everyone's gonna, if the human beings will never, the poet states, he'll never be able to be alleviated or absolved from he said and she said, that even Allah himself, people said things about him. People say things about the one who's perfect. So what about us we're imperfect? Imagine, subhanAllah, we're always going to have people say things about us, and we have to kind of live with that. This is life. Life is not easy. It's not meant to be easy like that. People are going to say things. So yeah, this is something we have to live with. But the point is, in a nutshell, guys, the door is always open for reconciliation, and I'm renewing my call for that. Private reconciliation is best, especially when there's not really a molten of niza', an academic reason to be going back and forth like this. If there's an issue, we're here. And if apologies are needed, if forgiveness is needed, then this is where a test of character is put in play, to be honest with you. If it's easy to apologize to someone who you have a good relationship with, or forgive someone who you like. But when it's someone you find obnoxious, or you don't like them, then that's where there's difficulty, and that's where it's a test of character. So I formally and publicly once again renew the call for reconciliation to our brother Sajid on a private basis, and I think that if he does it just the way that Abdurrahman does it, it'll be fantastic. It'll be a good relationship we can have, and I think we can think win-win. We can make this dawah move forward in a way that doesn't disturb the ecosystem, doesn't disturb the Muslim people. And one thing I will say is this: despite anything else, one message which I think is very important, and I know I've spoken for quite some time now, is that in the face of the enemy, the adu Allah, one thing that we want to do is make sure that we have a united front. Even the hudud, by the way, in the Islamic states would be suspended. Can you imagine that? And if you think about the hikmah of why that may be the case, like if you try and amputate someone's hand for theft and there's a war, then it pushes them to defect to the other side. And there's a profound wisdom in the Sharia in that. So if you're facing the enemies of Islam, a big lesson to learn from all of this is that we must remain united in front of the enemy, and then we can solve our issues internally. And if there's screening that needs to be done, there's screening that will need to be done. But going back to the point, now I think, having said all of this and learned all the lessons that we have, it's time to reconcile. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.